It's 11 at night. You ate dinner 3 hours ago. You're not hungry. And yet you're standing in front of an open fridge, eating something sweet you can barely even taste anymore. You tell yourself it's weak willpower. It isn't. The real reason is far stranger than self-control, and it reaches back hundreds of thousands of years, long before refrigerators, before electricity, before the night ever felt safe enough to be awakened. Your body has a clock, not one clock, thousands of tiny ones, ticking inside almost every cell you own. Scientists call this your circadian rhythm. It decides when your liver releases sugar. It decides when your muscles absorb it. And for most of human history, that clock was tuned to one brutal fact. Food was about to disappear for 12 hours. Think about that for a second. No streetlights, no moonlit grocery runs, just darkness and whatever calories you had managed to gather before the sun went down. Researcher Sachin Panda at the Salk Institute has spent decades studying how light and darkness reshape what happens inside your body. His work shows that your metabolism does not run the same way at 8 in the evening as it does at 8 in the morning. Your body becomes less efficient at processing food as night falls. So evolution did something clever and slightly cruel. It made your brain crave the densest, fastest fuel available right before the lights went out. Sugar. Why sugar specifically? Because sugar is fast. It hits your bloodstream quicker than protein, faster than fat. In a world without supermarkets, a body that topped off on the richest calories before a long fast had a real survival edge. The forager who grabbed ripe fruit at dusk outlasted the one who didn't bother. That edge got written into your biology, and it never got the memo that the famine stopped coming. Here's where it gets stranger. Neuroscientist Sarah Leibowitz at Rockefeller University studied how animals shift their food preferences across the day. What she found was that the drive toward carbohydrates and sugar doesn't stay flat. It rises sharply in the hours before normal sleep. Not because of hunger, because of timing. Your hypothalamus, the part of your brain that manages basic survival drives, seems to expect one final fuel stop before the long, dark stretch begins. You're not weak at 11 at night, you're ancient. This is the part that should unsettle you a little. Your ancestors weren't binging on cookies. They were eating berries, root vegetables, the occasional burst of wild honey, and that was rare enough to matter. Your brain still rewards sugar like it's rare, like finding it means you won something. But you live somewhere, sugar is never rare. It's in the cereal aisle, it's in your coffee, it's 2 blocks away in a vending machine that never closes. Evolutionary biologist Daniel Lieberman at Harvard has spent years describing a brutal mismatch between the body you were given and the world you actually live in. Humans evolved for environments of scarcity. We now exist inside an environment of permanent abundance. We did not evolve for this much sugar, this much artificial light, this much access at any hour we choose. Your nighttime craving is the same ancient signal. It's just firing into a world that no longer needs it. So why does it feel so personal? Why does it feel like it's about you, specifically, and not about your biology? Because your brain doesn't experience evolution. It experiences urges. It doesn't whisper, this is a 600,000-year-old survival mechanism. It simply says, you want this right now. And the craving doesn't even need real hunger behind it. Research into dopamine and food reward has shown that the anticipation of sugar can spike brain activity almost as strongly as actually eating it does. Your brain isn't checking whether you're hungry, it's checking whether it's getting dark. There's also a quieter culprit working alongside the clock. Light itself. Screens, lamps, and glowing kitchens push back the moment your brain decides night has truly started. Your ancestors went dark with the sun. You go dark whenever you finally put the phone down. That extra stretch of false daylight keeps the ancient alarm ringing far longer than it was ever designed to. There's something almost tender about that, if you let yourself see it that way. Your body isn't broken, it's loyal. It's still trying to protect a version of you that hasn't existed for thousands of generations. The version standing near a dying fire, eyes on the horizon, gathering whatever sweetness it could before the world went black and dangerous. You don't live in that world anymore. The night isn't dangerous. The fridge isn't a last chance. But try explaining that to a brainstem that has been running the exact same program since long before agriculture existed. None of this means you're powerless against it. Knowing the mechanism changes your relationship to it. When the craving hits at 11 at night, it isn't a moral failure lighting up inside you. It's a very old alarm clock, slightly out of sync with a world it was never built for. You can notice it without obeying it. You can recognize it as an echo rather than an order. That single shift from shame to recognition is often the difference between fighting your biology and simply understanding it. Maybe that's the strangest part of all. The craving you feel reaching for something sweet in the dark isn't really about the cookie. It isn't even about tonight. It's a faint, flickering signal passed down from every ancestor who almost didn't make it through the night, carried so faithfully that it still fires inside you, in a kitchen lit by a refrigerator bulb, in a world none of them could have imagined. It's 11 at night again, somewhere, for someone. And once more, without quite knowing why, they'll reach for something sweet. Not because they're hungry, but because deep in a part of the brain older than language itself, the dark is still something to prepare for.